Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Ellen Truskowski. I am the Director of Student Assignment, and with me I have...
My name is Mandy Leathers. I'm the Instructional Staff Developer for our district application programs.
And tonight we're basically here to walk you through the acceptance period, give you a little bit of idea of what to expect, what the different status means, and how to respond to an offer you might have. So I'm going to start off by turning it over to Mandy to walk you through the first beginning.
All right, so as Ellen mentioned, we are going to dive into our acceptance period tonight, which includes our magnet and fundamental programs, and we'll give you an update as well on special assignment requests. So again, thank you for joining us. Our goal for you tonight is to help you to understand what your results will look like, what they mean, and then what actions you need to take, and how to get help if you have questions. Tomorrow, February 10th at 9 a.m., the acceptance window will open. It will close on Friday, February 20th at 5 p.m. All actions must be completed by the deadline when that window shuts down at 5 o'clock or before that window shuts down at 5 o'clock on February 20th. The acceptance period steps include the following. So first, you're going to want to log into your Focus account, just as you did when you submitted your application, and you can view your child's application status there. Next, you'll want to review any offers or waitlist positions. You'll be able to view those as well, and just in a moment I'll show you a screenshot of what that will look like. And if you have an invitation there that you would like to accept, you can accept one of those magnet program offers if it's there. Waitlist offers will continue after March 5th of 2026. Before you click accept, please know that you are only able to accept one program and that acceptances are final. So if you have previous experience with magnet and fundamental applications in the student reservation system with older siblings that you have completed this process with before, it's different. So in the student reservation system, during that entire 2-week period, you could go in, you could change your mind, you could accept one thing and then say, yeah, you know, I'd rather have this, and go back in, and whatever action you completed last was the one that was final before the close of that application period window. Different in Focus now, as soon as you hit that button, that action can't be changed. So you can do it within that window at any time, but as soon as you hit the button, your action can't be changed. So just please remember that that acceptance is final. Accepting removes you from all other wait lists. So once you say, you know, yes, that's the program that we'd like to select, you hit the button, you're going to be removed from all of the other program wait lists. Those waitlist numbers are not live. They don't update as people are accepting or not accepting programs. They will not update until after March 2nd. So next is how to check those results. Again, you are going to sign into your Focus Parent Portal account. Make sure it's your account, not your student's account. And this is where families can check results during the application period. So they're not available yet. This is a screenshot from our training site. You can see that little red button up at the top. So if you log in right now, you're not going to see this option. But tomorrow, beginning at 9 a.m., you will. So once you've logged into your parent account, you're going to look for your child's name on the left-hand side. You're going to click that greater than symbol next to your child's name. It will turn into an arrow facing down. And then underneath there, you're going to select school choice. So it won't say magnet and fundamental like it did when you submitted the actual application. This time tomorrow at 9, it's going to say school choice instead. Once you have logged in and selected school choice, then you're going to see your application status dashboard, and it will look something like below depending on what it is that you selected or applied for. So the first column there is the school year, it's 26-27, and then it will show you your choices from 1 through 5, or maybe only one choice depending on how many you entered and selected. The applying programs will be there in that next column over, and then you're going to see your status. in the next highlighted red box over actions is going to give you available actions to you. So this is where you'll see if you have invitations to the programs that you applied for. If you see a green accept button, that means that you have received an offer. Now let's look at that top one for the line that says Madeira Beach Fundamental. In the status column, it says waitlisted. If you look over to the actions column, you'll see that there's no green button there. If you continue looking over to the right where the red box is located that says wait sequence, that's where you're going to see your waitlist number. So this particular applicant has invitations for 4 programs and is waitlisted in position number 7 at Madeira Beach Fundamental. This is the key to your application status. So you may see accepted, and that means that you have accepted this program and no action is required further. You may see awaiting review, and this means that your program may be missing required eligibility documentation, or it may have been marked ineligible due to academic or behavioral criteria. You can contact the program's coordinator for more information about why your application may be awaiting review. It may also be due to maybe your student is in the middle of the eligibility determination process for gifted, right? And you're aware of that, and that may be a reason why you would see that awaiting review, but you can always contact the program coordinator for more information about that. You may also see an application status of decline. That means that you declined an offered seat either by accepting another program or by not responding before the end of the acceptance period. Here, no further action is required. Pending acceptance means that your student has been offered a seat but has not yet accepted it. You would select accept to secure that seat. So just as I showed you those green buttons in the column in the center of your screen, once you log in, you would accept to secure the seat if you would like to. But if no action is taken, if you're not interested in the invitations that are there pending for your student, the offer will be automatically declined when the acceptance period ends, so you wouldn't need to take any further action. You can just leave it pending. There actually is no decline button. So to decline an offer, you would just not accept it. You may also see the status of waitlisted, which means that all of the available seats were filled before your applicant's random selection was pulled. So that means that your child has been placed on a waitlist and may be offered a seat if one becomes available. You can review that waitlist number. Remember, it's not fluid, it's not updating within this window. It will update after the beginning of March. Here's some important information before you decide. In that first column for the school year, you will see, you may see if your student is currently enrolled, you may see where they are for the 25-26 school year. That will show as well as an accepted status. So that just means where they currently are. It may also mean that your zone school for next year is listed, but that doesn't equal an acceptance necessarily. The magnet or fundamental acceptance would override that. So don't just read those lines carefully. If it says accepted, it just means that your enrollment line may have just rolled up.
And I'm going to jump in real quick here because it's really important, especially if you applied for a special assignment request, because that may show up here as well. They know they're trying to get that to come out sooner, but one of those lines, if you did apply for a special assignment request, will say that special assignment request. And so if you're offered a seat for both, whatever you choose is going to decline the other. And we'll go a little bit more into depth on that later on.
All right, so once you have come to a decision point, you've determined what it is that you would like to do. Again, if you have invitations, they will show up in green as accept buttons. So underneath your action column, Those are the actions that you have available to you to take. You would select accept to secure the seat. Again, we want to stress this heavily. Acceptances are final and cannot be changed. So we don't have the option to change that. We don't have the ability to put it back. It's a final action within the system, so please just be careful and very sure that that's the decision that you want to make. No action is needed to decline an invitation. So one more time, there's no decline button. To decline an offer, you just do nothing. Easy peasy. Once you have clicked the green button, you're going to get a final confirmation. And this is just giving you some of that information that I've given you right now. So by clicking the accept button, by accepting the program or school that you've selected for the 26-27 school year, the action is final and cannot be changed. Accepting the invitation declines all other program offers and waitlists immediately. You will also see some notations there about arterial transportation. And then if you are agreeing to that this is surely your choice, and you click accept in the bottom right hand corner. One more time, accepted choices cannot be changed. So let's talk a minute about the wait list. A wait list number does not necessarily mean no. It just means that all of the seats were filled before your randomized number was reached. Your wait list number may change. Sometimes it doesn't, depending on the school or the program, but sometimes it does. So just keep in mind that during this acceptance window, people are accepting programs and therefore declining others, or deciding to stay on wait lists, and then seats will become available after that window closes. So it's a possibility to receive an offer from the wait list, just not until later. So keep that in mind. But again, that number is static. It's not going to update for you by logging back in to Focus and checking it. Wait lists are set after March 5th, and again, as families decline offers, they may move out of the county, or they may just choose other program seats. Seats may come available, and then students can be made offers from that wait list in wait list order. The invitation cycles will begin on March 9th. And at this time, we are going to
take you to a test site. So we're going to switch over to my computer real quick just to kind of show you a little bit of live version. So this is a test site, so it may look a little bit different, but it'll be pretty close to what you will see tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. So you're going to go to the focus.pcsb.org website, and you're going to log into your parent account. When you log into that parent account, you're going to open it up. You're going to see your students on the left-hand side. So at this point, you would go to the student. There's a greater than, less than symbol. So you're going to click that symbol, and then it'll expand a drop-down menu. In that menu, just like Mandy said earlier, you're going to click School Choice. When you click School Choice, your options are going to appear. Sorry, the internet's taking a little bit slow. So while that comes up, here it is. So I do want to point out a couple things that Mandy talked about when she was going through the information. You need to be very careful, because once again, that answer's final. If you mess up and call and say, hey, I clicked the wrong thing, we're not going to be able to go and put you back on. So please take the time. Those wait list numbers are going to be static, so they are not going to change, so you can come back. It's still going to be, in this case, 109. But you have some time. I do want to point out that you're going to see the current year. So if you are currently enrolled in one of our schools, the current year will show up at the bottom. You will also get to see your number of choices that you applied for. In this case, you can see that I applied for Plum Harbor IB. Then I applied for a special assignment request. And if you look over into that reason column, you're going to see magnet program, special assignment request. You're going to see that Countryside comes up because that would be my zone school. So you really need to be careful when you're here to make sure you're clicking the right one. So if you're questioning like what type, that's going to be under the reason column. The waitlist status is the closest here. And you can see that I applied for Biomed Sciences and I am 109 on the wait list for that program. When I make a decision, and this is very important because you can see that I got accepted for being offered a special assignment request as well as a magnet. So I really need to think, which do I really want? The magnet program is going to provide arterial transportation. The special assignment request is going to get me to the school more as a traditional student, not necessarily in the magnet program, but then my parents are going to be responsible for transportation. So when you click, when you have an offer to the same school that you applied with your number one choice for magnet or a special assignment request, accepting one is going to decline the other. So you have 10 days or close to 10 days to make that decision. Make sure you're taking your time and make sure you're choosing the one that you want. So if it is the magnet program, you're going to hit accept. We are doing a warning. So you will get a confirmation pop up that says this action is final. Please make sure you read and make sure that you are making the exception you want. If you're like, you know what, I want the SAR, I'm going to hit back and I'm going to come for the SAR. So whichever one I want to accept, I'm going to go ahead and click the green button. I'm going to read this message. And if that's what I really want, I'm going to hit accept. It'll go faster. We're kind of in a closed room, so the Wi-Fi is a little bit slow. And it is a test site, so it doesn't work the same way. Now that I have accepted, this is where you're going to see some of those other information. So you're going to see that I accepted the IB program at Palm Harbor University. You're going to see that this now automatically declined that special assignment request. It declined the biomed, it declined my zones option of Countryside, and it declined the iSTEM program that I applied for. So when you accept one offer, it declines all the others. Now, I do want to make sure that you're aware that let's say your number one magnet choice was Palm Harbor Med, and let's say you did not get an offer for that, but you did get an offer for an SAR. You would still be able to stay on the wait list for the magnet program and accept that SAR. It's when you're being offered to the same school that the program is, you have to make a decision, either the SAR or the magnet program. But if it is one that you want to wait on a wait list, you can safely accept the SAR and remain on the DAP wait list. And it's the same as the other. If you were waitlisted for your SAR, you can accept the DAP. But when you're being offered both, you're going to have to make that decision of one or the other. This is where you will see this panel up until 5 p.m. on February 20th. And that's all you need to do to accept a program. So both the district application programs, your magnet and fundamentals will come here, as well as your special assignment requests. So we do want to go over a couple more things on what to know. So we're going to switch back to the slideshow. If you applied to the same program for your children and their siblings, and you marked the program number one for both children, and that's important. So it has to be the same program is ranked as your top choice. If one student gets in and the other does not, you have an opportunity to claim what we call a newly invited sibling priority. And this applies to a small number of families. So if the top program is the same for both students, you can contact the program coordinator of that school, between February 23rd and the 27th to ask for that newly invited sibling status. That priority will move you up on the wait list. It doesn't necessarily guarantee you a seat, but it does put you in a better spot to have a better chance of receiving an offer to try to keep the families together. So I want you to be aware that it is your responsibility. It's not something that would automatically be applied. You would have to reach out to the program coordinator during the week of February 23rd to the 27th. And I do want to just make sure our tech team knows that I'm not sure if the chat box is open. So if you're able to or you have questions, please know that go ahead and put them in the chat box. Okay. We're going to go through a couple more things. Sorry, I can't see the questions. So give me 1 second to go through a couple more things and then we'll get to the questions. If you see that you are in awaiting review status, that means that you have been determined to be ineligible. So like Mandy said earlier, it might be that it was a behavioral where you have 10 or more referrals and or assessor. It could just be that the school is waiting on paperwork or documentation. If you're halfway through the gifted eligibility process and you haven't completed it, if you are not one of our students and you haven't sent in your test information or grades to the high school IB or ACE programs, you may be temporarily ineligible until that documentation is turned in. Or if you did not interview or audition for Gibbs Performing or PCCA. So it could be a matter of they're still waiting on something from you, or it could be that you were determined to be ineligible due to behavior. If you were determined the latter, Mandy would have already reached out with an email to let you know. Your program coordinator is going to be the best person to contact for more specific information. We do also allow an appeal. So from Monday, February 23rd through Friday, February 27th, we are able to accept an appeal. And that means that you can contact, once again, that school's program coordinator by the end of the day on Friday the 27th, and you can bring information on why you would like to be reconsidered. And the school will set up an appointment. It could be virtual, it could be in person, and then you would get to bring whatever documentation or whatever evidence or whatever reasoning it is that you think you would like to appeal that decision. We do have a couple important dates that are coming up. One is for sure, make sure that you're accepting within that acceptance period. So tomorrow at 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. Friday, February 20th. For the newly invited sibling, that's going to be February 23rd through the 27th. We also have the late application period will open on March 24th. And that is if you did not apply or you want to apply for a different program that you might not have come up with, or if your waitlist number is 200 plus, the likelihood of getting a seat at that school may be a little bit tough. So maybe you want to change your ranking or put a different program on. That will open up on March 24th. We do have a couple different days and nights that we will be out in the community to help families. I'm not going to read them to you, but on the 11th, we'll be at Northeast. We're going to be at Dunedin Highland Middle School, Lakewood Elementary, as well as the Student Assignment Office being open. Our hours are 8 to 4:30, but on that last day, we do stay open until the end of the application period. So at this time, we're going to open it up because I can see that there are quite a few questions coming in. So Mandy and I will take turns reading them and then answering the questions that you may have. If any more come up, please put them in there. If there's something we don't answer, feel free to directly contact us at dap@pcs.org. So dap@pcsb.org or studentassignment@pcsb.org.
So there were a couple of questions about what happens in reference to what happens after you accept something. So let's say you're offered your second choice. Are you able to accept it and re-enter yourself on the wait list for a late application for your first choice? And similar to that, can you remain on the waiting list for your first choice but accept the second choice?
So The answer is no to that. So once you accept a program, it removes you from all others. So even if it's on a wait list. So if you really know that you want your first choice and you didn't get an offer, I strongly recommend remaining on the wait list. By accepting a different program, that'll remove you from the wait list. And the late application period works a little bit differently. So when that late application period opens on March 24th, it goes in time-stamped order. So whatever wait list is there from the initial application period, when you apply, you just go to the bottom of that wait list. So if you really want that number one choice and you might have a wait list number, don't accept another one. You can always go back and apply for or reapply for ones that you may have been offered and didn't accept. But that way it'll keep your initial wait list number.
Does this have to be done on a computer, or can you use your cell phone? You are absolutely able to use a device that is not a laptop. So you can log into your cell phone, iPad, anything like that, and you can follow that same process.
There's a question on there about the Students Focus website defaults to Japanese instead of English. So there's a couple different things. If they sign in, there is a My Profile where you can set up the default language. You can also reach out to our Tech Help department, and they are wonderful. It's 727-588-6060 or help@pcsb.org. But they can also help get the language set to the correct one for you.
There were a couple of questions in reference to private school, and the process for private school incoming students who have applied for our magnet and fundamental programs is the same. So you're going to see those same screens. You log into the same place. You select school choice. There's no difference from whether you're a current student or whether you're coming from another state or a private school within the county. Additionally, will the seat you're offered stay available to you until the 20th?
Yes. So that offer will extend all the way to the 20th. So if you wanted to take some time and think about it, you can definitely do that. And once again, especially since this year with that new piece of the decision being final, we're probably going to repeat that till you're tired of hearing us, but we're very nervous that people aren't going to hear that and click. So really make sure that your decision is what you want before you go on and click it. There's another piece here that says what happens, and you had started to mention, once you accept, that school is going to get a list of people who accept, and then they will reach out to you with a welcome letter, if there's an orientation. If you are new to Pinellas County Schools, so either coming from out of state or coming from a private school, there's a list of required documentation, which can be found on the PCSB enrollment page. You would be required to bring in that documentation. Another piece is, do the seats remain? So you're going to have to get to the school within 2 months, so 8 weeks, once that accept goes through with all the documentation to be able to keep a seat. After those 8 weeks, the application will expire, and then you would lose that seat. So you've got 8 weeks or 2 months to finish that reservation process.
What do you do if when you go to log in, you don't see the option of school choice?
So you would need to reach out to the Tech Help or TIS department for some technical issues or assistance with that.
Or it could be that it's not 9 o'clock yet.
Yes.
Will the kindergarten SARs be announced soon also?
So we were told today that the SARs they're trying to do very soon. I'm not sure if that will go up tomorrow, or they said hopefully by the end of this week. So it's almost 2 weeks earlier than what we had originally planned. So we're very excited that people can have that decision either or right away. And if there are kindergarten seats, we are granting them. So it's not going to be later in the year. So we're expecting to be able to do a large majority of those who applied for special assignment requests. We will send out communication, email, and a phone call as soon as I get confirmation as far as what day that'll open. We'll make sure to reach out to whatever contact information you put on that application so that we can let you know that it's open, and then we'll have some steps on what to do and how to access those results.
Let's see. Do we have statistics for the last 2 years? How many students applied and accepted for the last 2 years of Magnet and Fundamental? You can send any kind of public records request to either student assignment at pcsb.org or DAP at pcsb.org, and that information can be accessed.
There's a question as far as will Oldsmar K-8 show up as an option before the choice deadline, and that no. So that is not officially approved yet. So that vote will go to the school board on February 24th. So on February 24th, our school board will vote upon the recommendations of the Planning for Progress team. Based on that vote, there's then a couple more steps. Once the school board approves it, we have to go to the state for permission. So it will go to the state. Their committee meets 2 times a month. As soon as we get approval from the state and they update the state database, we can then start to program it and offer it. So we won't be giving away those 6th grade seats until we have permission from the state. That should be up and running by the late application period. And the late application period for special assignment requests will open on March 31st. So on March 31st, you should be able to apply for Oldsmar 6th grade.
If you choose the option that you were on the wait list for but never get accepted, do you get to choose one of your choices that you were accepted for? The answer to that is no, and that goes along with that warning that we've repeated several times tonight. So once again, as soon as you accept something, the rest of your offers will go away. And during this acceptance window, that acceptance is final.
So there's another question here about what if you only picked one and it gets declined or waitlisted? Do we just go with our zone school? So this is a good question because there are quite a few people who, when they applied, clicked DAP or SAR only. So if you were one of the ones who clicked one of those buttons, you basically said you didn't want a zoned reservation. And it's very easy. We can set you up and we can get a zoned reservation for you. So if you only apply for one and you're on a wait list and you're getting a little nervous, you can easily call student assignment at 727-588-6210, and we will make that reservation for you to the zone school. You would then remain on the wait list. It is perfectly fine to enroll at your zone school. If you do get a call or offer from that wait list at whatever time that occurs, your zone school would then send all that documentation over to your new school. So you're not actually having to bring all the required documentations to separate schools. They will go ahead and get your documentation and required pieces of paper to the new school that you would then accept.
This is a good question. So my student is zoned for Sandy Lane. He has an IEP for door-to-door transportation. If he is accepted to the magnet program, is he limited to arterial transportation even though it is his zone school?
So that is an excellent question. If your magnet program of choice is your zone school, you can get curb to curb. So as long as the program is at your zone school, that specialized transportation that's mentioned in the IEP will be provided. If you choose a program that is not at your zone school, you're waiving that curbside transportation by accepting the offer, and that's kind of in that pop-up thing, just as a warning or a reminder that you would only be available for arterial. So if the program is at your zone school, that curb to curb will be provided. If it is at a different school, you would get arterial transportation.
There was a question that just came in. Will you accept your program for the 26-27 school year? Do you have to do this again for the remaining high school years? And the answer to that is no. Once you accept an invitation and you enroll into a school, then your seat is valid through the highest grade level that the program offers. So they would be good through senior year and graduation.
Correct. I think that looks like we've hit most of the questions. I'll see if any others come through. The big thing, feel free to, it's pretty easier design to get to where you're going. So you really just want to make sure you have from the tomorrow, the 9th, the 10th, up until the 20th. So just take your time. The fact that the wait list numbers are static, so you don't have to worry about that changing. You have time. You've got 10 days. I don't recommend waiting till the last minute. We always hear some horror stories about either the Wi-Fi going down or people rushing to get home and missing that deadline. But you have time, so you can think it over, come back. As long as you go ahead in and respond by 5 p.m. on the 20th, you are good. Our office will stay open on that last day, so if anybody has issues or trouble, we don't go home until everyone has been addressed. So either the emails or phone numbers for our department, but we remain until we're able to assist anyone who might be having trouble. So if you reach out to us by 5 p.m., we will make sure that we stay and get you set with that. Just seeing if any other questions have come in the meantime.
There was a couple of questions about the wait list. So if you're on a wait list, when will you know if you're accepted? So wait list calls will start sometime in the beginning, the first couple of weeks of March. And you would hear directly from, you would hear directly about that invitation. It'll be a phone call and or an email. But it just depends. There's really no good way to tell. We won't have a better idea until after we see who accepts and doesn't accept during the acceptance period. And with that being said, you can, I don't know, you can kind of gauge it from your waitlist number, right? If you have a waitlist number of 192, chances of 192 families saying we don't want that choice are slim. If you're sitting at number 2 on the wait list, there might be a chance that some might say no. So it just depends, and the offers come as the seats are available. So there's no good solid answer to that other than it's going to start after March 9th.
So we'll know by the 20th who said yes or who said no. But then that following week, where we talked a little bit that sometimes that waitlist number will change. If you are one of the newly invited siblings, you might go up towards the top, in which case the rest of the numbers will shift a little bit. So it's not until after that week, kind of when the dust settles, where we can kind of see how many openings are there in each program, and then we start to try to fill in those holes. So we will reach out, like Mandy said, email or phone call, and just try to make sure that we're seating as many people as possible. The more popular programs do tend to fill up during the initial application period. There might be a couple seats. Every now and then we'll have like some rare years where people forget, and like Osceola Fundamental might have 50 seats available to try to fill during the wait list. So it really depends. But we will try to do offers every few weeks to get them out until we have all the programs filled. I think that looks like we've hit most of the questions. So like we said before, if you do have any additional questions, please just reach out to us at dap.pcsb.org, student assignment at pcsb.org, or 727-588-6210. The Student Assignment Office, we're here to help, so we want to make this as easy as possible, answer whatever questions you might have, and I wish you good luck. So if you don't see it, remember it does not open until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So if you're not seeing that school choice, it's probably because it's before 9 o'clock. And if you don't see that afterwards, just give us a call, and if we can't help, we will get you to the tech department, who are pretty responsive very quickly as well. So I wish you luck, and
have a great night.
Thanks for joining us.